If you're going to Disneyland in August 2025, then you absolutely got to watch this before you go, because I'm going to get into everything that you need to know, including which rides are scheduled to be closed at both parks during this month, plus are the parks scheduled to close early on any of these dates, new entertainment experiences that are scheduled to come, lightning lane tips, the start of the Halloween season, when fireworks will play and when they're not scheduled to play, everything that you need to know, like I said, plus what everybody wants to know, which the best days to go in August will probably be. Hey, I'm David Vaughn. Let's get right into it. Starting off with the Fantastic Four coming to Disneyland Park. Yeah, they're not going to be in Avengers Campus. They're going to be in Disneyland Park in Tomorrowland, which really fits because it's kind of got that retro 60s vibe for it. So here's what you need to know about the Fantastic Four coming to Disneyland Park. Also keep in mind, why are they not going to be Avengers Campus? Well, it's a completely different multiverse universe in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so it doesn't make sense for them to be in Avengers Campus if they're not actually with the Avengers at all. So you will be able to meet all four characters from the Fantastic Four, as well as their robot Herbie, and we don't have an end date yet, but I do expect it to go at least through August. In addition, you'll be able to try new snacks and pick up novelties in both parks, including Pym Test Kitchen in Avengers Campus, the Galactic Grill, and Alien Pizza Planet in Tomorrowland. Look for novelties and seasonal items for a limited time. So what's going to be closed at Disneyland and Disney California Adventure in the month of August? Starting off with Disneyland Park, we have Casey Jr. Circus Train in Fantasyland. So this one is scheduled to close all month long. However, sometimes Disneyland does end up changing the schedule and opening things a bit earlier, so that's possible with any of these that are scheduled to close all month. We also have the Storybook Land Canal boats, which are also scheduled to close all month at Disneyland Park. And Star Tours, which closed last month, is also scheduled to be closed the entirety of the month. But like I said, any of these could reopen earlier. That happened with Matterhorn. It said it was going to be scheduled to close all month long, and then they ended up reopening it July 24th on the schedule. Haunted Mansion is also scheduled to be closed August 9th through the 21st, and then it'll reopen on August 22nd as Haunted Mansion Holiday, and I don't expect that to change. Now over to Disney California Adventure, we have the Incredicoaster, which closed back in late July and is scheduled to be closed the entire month. I don't know if that'll reopen sooner. Redwood Creek Challenge Trail is also closed for all of the month up until August 15th, but I'm not entirely sure if this is going to come back in that same way. They use this for Oogie Boogie Bash, so I'm not entirely sure how they're going to run the daytime challenge trail with Oogie Boogie Bash, but we'll see. It is scheduled to reopen August 15th at this point in time. Radiator Springs Racers also scheduled to close, and I warned you guys about this earlier, August 18th, and that'll be closed. What it sounds like is it's supposed to only be closed for like a month or so, should come back sometime mid-September, but just a heads up, Radiator Springs Racers is only going to be open till August 17th, and it's going to close on the 18th. And all of these are subject to change as always, and there might be new ones added to this list, but just make sure to subscribe here because I post updates sometimes in my posts on here. Sometimes I'll make a video, just depends on what needs to be said. So next up, will the parks close early? Yes, there's going to be a special event, as we all know. Oogie Boogie Bash returns on these dates in August. So that means that Disney California Adventure is going to close at 6 p.m. So if you have a ticket to that park that day, just know, if you don't have a ticket to Oogie Boogie Bash, you will not be allowed to attend the party. The park will officially close at 6 p.m. And then if you have a park hopper or a Magic Key, you can park hop with the Magic Key. You can go over to Disneyland Park, which most of these days should be open anywhere from 10 p.m. to midnight, just depending on the day that you're going during the Oogie Boogie Bash season. So just a heads up about that. I would hop over to Disneyland and definitely consider getting a park hopper on these days. Another thing I do want to note though is a lot of the time guests will know that Oogie Boogie Bash will close Disney California Adventure early, so they kind of plan for it, and typically Disneyland will be busier, especially after 5 p.m. Everybody goes over, so I always highly recommend start off at Disney California Adventure, finish everything, and then just go to Disneyland by 3. Like, try to get everything you can get done at Disney California Adventure that day, and then go over to Disneyland at 3. Typically, I feel like we see fewer people at Disney California Adventure on the days they know an Oogie Boogie Bash event will happen, so it might work in your favor. Just know Disneyland Park will be a lot crowded, more crowded, or could be a lot more crowded on these days in the evening than it normally would be during the day. Now onto virtual queues. So right now there's 2 virtual queues that Disneyland is using, and we haven't heard about any more. I'll update if there's more, but typically I don't think there's going to be. Basically, we have Walt Disney and Magical Life. That one is kind of being used as needed. That's the new Walt Disney animatronic show at Disneyland Park. That one's opening at 7 a.m. and again at noon, with the first one being able to scan in from anywhere. As long as you had the starter park is Disneyland, then you can join the virtual queue at home or your hotel room, wherever you want, at 7 a.m. However, the noon one, you have to be inside one of the parks to do it. So you have to make sure you're scanned into Disneyland or Disney California Adventure with some type of admission to Disneyland. So like a park hopper, or that was your starter park or whatever. But they really only used it the first day and a half. And then after that, kind of stopped using it. It's possible we'll see the virtual queue come back if they notice the parks are going to be especially busy. But at this point in time, I could probably guess that the virtual queue will just not happen again for this show because just demand's not there. I mean, it's a theater show, and this has never been something that's like a major ride type of thing where people are just really clamoring to be inside this theater. So my guess is we won't really need to see a virtual queue for this. And then over at Disney California Adventure, the World of Color Happiness virtual queue still launches at noon. You got to make sure you're in Disneyland or Disney California Adventure with some type of admission that day to Disney California Adventure. You can join at the app at noon. I'm going to talk about the fireworks schedule, but we really do need to talk about Halloween first because that's kind of going to make sense of why the fireworks schedule is the way that it is. So really this peak summer season where fireworks play every single night is going to change up in August as we go into the Halloween season. And yeah, the Halloween season officially begins at Disneyland on August 22nd. So Disneyland Park, Disney California Adventure, and Downtown Disney plus the hotels will all have Halloween decorations either in parts of them or throughout them. Basically, you're going to see decorations at the entrances, and then certain lands you'll see more fall decorations, pumpkins, things like that, special attractions. I have an entire video about the Halloween season. I'm going to link it at the end, but also in the description below. So for sure, check that out if you want to know what's going on this Halloween season. But just know it officially begins August 22nd. There's no set date for when decorations are going to start being seen in the park. My guess is sometime in early August, we'll start to see some decorations pop up. However, they're not fully on. The only time I expect them to be fully on is Oogie Boogie Bash will start a bit earlier than the Halloween season. So we're going to see Oogie Boogie Bash decorations pop up definitely by the 17th of August. So that's going to be the first night we're going to see things lit up. So my guess is Disney California Adventure will probably get its decorations either earlier or they'll just be fully in there by the time that party starts. So just know if you're trying to get Halloween decorations early, don't expect it. Just expect Halloween decorations to be up fully by August 22nd, which now brings us into the fireworks schedule for the month of August. If you're looking to see the fireworks, here are the dates when the fireworks will happen. So we have Wondrous Journeys with fireworks, which will play nightly through August 21st. So expect fireworks scheduled every single night, weather permitted. Know that Wondrous Journeys, which is my favorite nighttime show with the fireworks, will play through August 21st. And then on August 22nd is when the Halloween Screams with fireworks begins. However, that's when everything changes because Disneyland has nightly fireworks scheduled through August 21st. And then on August 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, which is a weekend, we're going to see the Halloween Screams with fireworks. So that's the Halloween fireworks. And then it goes into projections only during the day. So you're going to get special effects. You're going to get the lighting and all these things, but you're not going to get the fireworks with the show during the week. And then the fireworks will return Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. However, we are seeing some interesting schedules with some of these might change over time, but typically we do know that the Halloween Screams fireworks are only going to be on the weekends, and then we'll probably see it Halloween Day and some other days, like maybe like Labor Day, they might have them, but that's future months, and I will keep you updated about those as we get future months because it's too early for that type of thing. We don't have the full calendar schedule out yet. In addition, if you want to see the Shadows of Memory, the Skywalker ones that I've been like raving about, the projections. So that's going to be the Shadows of Memory, a Skywalker saga is the nighttime projections that you see in Galaxy's Edge near the Falcon, the Millennium Falcon. So stand there. I always tell people get there like 45 minutes early because it's a very small space, but you can see them. Most nights are going to play at 10:15, but it's kind of interesting right now. The schedule is saying there's going to be a break in time. So it looks like Shadows of Memory will play at 10:15 every single night, August 1st and 2nd. And then it's going to take a break from August 3rd through the 17th. Now, I don't know if this is going to change and they'll add more dates in, but right now it looks like there's nothing being shown during that time, and I'm not entirely sure why. But August 18th through the 21st, and then August 29th through the 30th, it's scheduled at these times, 8:45 and 10:15 p.m. And then August 25th through the 30th, we see that it's scheduled to play at 8:45, 9:35, and 10:15. So you have 3 different chances to see this show. And then also it's saying that there's no show on the 31st. But again, I don't know if this is just totally not updated yet, or if they're going to change that, or if there's going to be another break. I don't know. Disneyland hasn't said, but right now this is what the schedule reflects. And you can always check hours on the day of your visit by searching Shadows of Memory in the Disneyland app and seeing when it's going to play during while you're there. Okay, so now on to parades, nighttime entertainment, and more. So we have a few different things going on: Phantasmic, parades, World of Color. So here's the schedule for now. We have Phantasmic scheduled to play at 9:05 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. most nights. So it should be almost every single night, subject to change. We also have the Paint the Night Parade scheduled 8:50 p.m. and 10:50 p.m. And sometimes they do tweak the times as times go on, so just definitely double check on the day of your visit. But right now, Paint the Night Parade is still scheduled to play even through the fall. So we do know that this is probably going to go through mid-November around that time. And then the Celebrate Happy Cavalcade, which is a daytime, very short cavalcade, so not like a mini parade that goes throughout, and has Duffy characters, and it also has Mickey and friends if you want to see them in their 70th anniversary get up. You can see them all at once. That's going to be at 1:30 p.m. and 2:45 p.m. And that should be every single day unless something changes. But right now it looks like these are going to be a daily type of thing. Then over at Disney California Adventure, the Better Together Parade will be at 2:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. And that should also be every single day. And World of Color Happiness, which is supposed to stop August 17th. So the last day would be August 16th. Now, this is probably for Oogie Boogie Bash since that's the first day, and there's not going to be any World of Color Happiness on the days of Oogie Boogie Bash just because they don't do it during the party, and then it just closes too early. It would be light out by the time they were able to play it. So they don't play it on those dates, so keep that in mind. But something to note is that it is scheduled to play otherwise at 9 p.m. and 10:15 p.m. through August 16th at Disney California Adventure. So something to keep a note of. And you don't need to join the virtual queue. If you go to the later time, there's typically spots. But I do recommend the virtual queue just in case, so you get a better spot. Now, if you're getting Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, you might be wondering, what are the best attractions to prioritize? And there has been a little bit of a change here because we're gonna see some rides open as well as some rides closed. So here is kind of a caveat, and here's the deal. So I still think Space Mountain, Indiana Jones are gonna be heavy hitters, as well as Tiana's Bayou Adventure, because especially as August is one of the hottest months in Southern California, people want to get on a water ride midday. In the morning, you will probably see no waits for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. However, the Matterhorn bobsleds, with them reopening, people are going to want to ride that, and it'll be, I think, a hit, especially in the early part of August. So something you might want to hop on at that point in time. And then Haunted Mansion is going to be closed for a part of August, but when it reopens, it might be something you want to prioritize or head to really early. Although typically we do see spots for Haunted Mansion have more selections throughout the day with Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, even though it can reach up to like over an hour wait on some days, especially when it reopens August 22nd. It's super popular, Haunted Mansion Holiday. So just something to keep in mind, like I'm still putting it toward the bottom of the list just because I think we'll see Space Mountain and Indiana Jones run out of Lightning Lanes first. Just make sure these are the top 5 for you if you're trying to hit all the major heavy hitters. And then over at Disney California Adventure, I'm still saying Guardians of the Galaxy, Toy Story Mania, and Web Slingers. However, Grizzly River Run, because of the heat, midday, you would want to prioritize that because you're gonna see super long lines for that ride. So just a heads up about that. And now what everybody wants to know, when is the best time to visit in August to the Disneyland Resort? When is gonna be the fewest crowds that you can experience? So this is gonna be a prediction, of course, because can't really tell you 100% for sure, but I think these are pretty educated guesses. So this is the first thing that I want to say. A few things kind of happen during this month that do impact people, the crowd levels really. And the first thing is that we do see the Enchant Key and the Magic Key, which are Disneyland's annual passes, able to come back in August. There are some ones that were able to go during the summer, but we see beginning of August, starting the 4th, that the Enchant Key is allowed back, and then mid-August, the Imagine Key is allowed to come back during the week. So something to note, that we will see more Magic Key holders back in the parks, and that could impact crowd levels as well. But what I like to do is actually compare my notes and my thoughts to undercovertourist.com's crowd calendar, because I really do like their crowd calendar. And I think that they have a pretty good grasp on the predictions, but mine are sometimes just a little bit different. So right now, Undercover Tourist is saying that the best days, absolute best days with the fewest crowds to visit Disneyland are going to be August 26th and August 27th. They're saying, based on the history and also when they fall during the week, that these are going to be the best days. And then the second best days are going to be the 18th, 19th, 20, 21, 25, and 28. So my recommendation, if you're trying to beat the crowds, I would go personally any of these dates. I agree. I do think that we're going to see August 26th and August 27th be the absolute best days to visit the parks. And the reason is because the Halloween season is going to begin on August 22nd. A lot of those folks are going to go during that weekend, kind of get the first head start of it. And then you're not going to see as many folks come on August 26th and 27th. So this time, I 100% agree with this crowd calendar. I also could see the 28th being a really good time to go. And then also the 21st, which is the day before the Halloween season begins. I would probably throw those in as maybe like the best days. So they're saying these days, I'm saying my absolute best predictions are the 21st, 26th, 27th, and 28th as the best times to visit Disneyland. And just keep in mind, it's gonna be really hot. But if you have any questions about visiting Disneyland, leave them in the comments below. Also, tell me, when is your next visit? When are you gonna head out to the parks? Are you going in August? If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want more Disneyland tips for your next visit, hit the subscribe button, especially if you're a Magic Key holder. Like, what are you doing? Subscribe here. I'm gonna give you all the tips to set you up for the best days ever. Can't wait for this Halloween season. Looks like we're gonna get a foodie guide coming up, so stay tuned for that. I'm David Vaughn. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.